Steve, welcome to Dubai.
Thank you.
Um, we'd like to have your comments and opinion on the cricket gallery here, hosted by Mr. Shyam Bhatia.
It's outstanding. It's amazing the attention to detail. I really like the 8 pillars here with each country, the history, all the players and the stats, and it's as good a museum as I've seen anywhere around the world. I mean, it's just got some great bats here and some artifacts and some history. And it's a real learning experience, even for myself. I'm looking around and I'm not sure where to look next because there's so much information. But there's obviously been a lot of research done. I think it's clear and concise, and it's right in front of you. It's fantastic.
And what do you feel about the man who has contributed such a lot to the game of cricket in spite of being a businessman in steel?
Obviously, his passion is cricket. You can see that coming through very strongly in this museum. That there's been a lot of effort put into getting it right and making sure that all the stats are correct. I mean, I checked mine out; they're all perfect, 100% right, and that takes a lot of work to make sure that's happening. And there's little personal mementos here, and I think recognition of the history of the game is important to as we go forward, particularly with T20 having a large presence. We've got to make sure that we don't forget our past and our history. It's really important for young cricketers to know about that. So I think this is a great starting point for a lot of young cricketers in the UAE to come and have a look at this museum and to find out a bit about what's gone on beforehand.
Which point or part of the museum you found interesting and inspiring? The Australian Pavilion?
Look, I think it's all equally interesting to me. I like watching some of the old footage, which we just had a look at. I think that's you don't often see the former players play the game, and I love watching that. I think everything here is interesting. Every piece of memorabilia has a story. That's the great thing about memorabilia, is that you look at it or you see it and it takes you back and gives you memories. And I have a lot of things myself at home, and I collected throughout my career. And they weren't necessarily bats and balls. They might have been mementos from a certain moment that took me back in time where it was something that I really treasured. So I think all of it is fantastic.
Why do people call you an Iceman or a Tuggy?
I don't know. Look, you get called whatever you get called, but Iceman, I suppose, was I kept pretty calm out in the field. And Tugger is tug of war, so they're both pretty simple, and I don't mind what I get called as long as it's nice.
Lastly, a few words on your comments on the current performance of Australia, especially in the Ashes series.
What would you like me to say?
Good or bad, it's up to you.
Okay. Look, it's pretty obvious we didn't perform as well as we would have liked in the Ashes series. Disappointing. England played very good cricket. No doubt about that. I think the good thing for Australia is that they'll learn from what happened and they'll make sure that they improve from this point on. So sometimes you've got to hit a point where you think, hang on, we're not going as well as we should. Let's reassess and go a different direction, and that's what they're going to have to do.
And lastly, you said Brett Lee could play an important role or a part for the success of Australia in the World Cup, and India could win the World Cup. I mean, I know the tagline exactly as what you said.
Brett Lee, for sure, has made a big difference already in the current series against England. They're leading 5-1, and he has really injected some enthusiasm and life into the team, which I think was missing. He's a great... I think, figure to look up to for the rest of the players. He's overcome so many injuries recently at the age of 34, 35 to come back and bowl 150 kilometres an hour. I just think he'll motivate players around him. As regards the win, I think 7 teams could win it. India is obviously one of the favourites, Sri Lanka, Australia. I have a sneaking suspicion South Africa are going to play very well because they've probably got the best fielding side. And I did say recently that the best fielding side will win the World Cup.
We also look forward for further support from your side to Mr. Shyam Bhatia and his charity foundation.
Look, I think charities are great. I mean, I run my own foundation. I would encourage a lot of people to get behind any worthwhile charities, and obviously the care for cricket is one of those.
Lastly, we'd like to ask you that definitely you're going to come back and support the charity foundation run by Mr. Shyam Bhatia. We would like to know your comments on that.
Yeah, look, I'm heavily involved in my own charities in Australia and India, so I have a passion for charity. I think what we're doing here is fantastic. Cricket for Care is a great initiative, and everyone should be congratulated for that initiative because we've got to help the less fortunate in the world, and getting kids into sport is great for their character. It'll teach them a lot of good principles about life. So if we can help out, we all should play our part for sure.
Thank you very much, and we wish to see you in the future.
Thank you.